This is how my quest log looks like at the start of 4.0, and this is how my quest log looks like right before the release of Grizzly's Banner in 4.1. Basically, I completed every single quest in Genshin Impact, so you won't have to. For context, I'm hunting down every Primo Gem in Teyvat in order to summon Neverlet, Grizzly, and his weapon Cash Flow Supervision. I started 4.0 with 117 Intertwined Fates, and have collected 36 more since then, with a running total of 153 fates. This video was meant to come out last week, but boy did I underestimate how long this would take. I have been slowly losing my sanity as the clock counts down to Neverlet's banner. There are only so many hours in a single day, and I wish I could have spent all of them farming, but I don't think my heart can take another Red Bull at this point. Even though completing every quest is an achievement in of itself, the real quest is collecting as many primos as possible. Give me your best guess as to how many primos I'll collect by the end of the video down in the comments below. I'll reveal how many I do actually end up with later in the video. Also, tell me what your quest and exploration progress looks like. I'm curious to see how many of you guys are more casual players or maxers, or procrastinators just like me. I am going to add a bit of a disclaimer. I am talking solely about world quests when I say that I'm going to complete every single quest. It was my full intention to finish the character and hangout quests, but I just didn't have enough time. I do still have to pay bills after all. Otherwise, how will I continue to play Genshin? So with that out of the way, I really did mean it when I said that I lost my sanity a bit. Just look at how many quests I still have to do for Sumeru. There are 21 quests to do, and don't you think for a second that all of them are that simple. Oh no. They are all mega-brained, and I promise you that I would have obtained a PhD from the academia itself if it weren't for me having to speedrun them. Luckily, Inazuma and Liyue are rather light in comparison. I only need 3 quests to finish up in Liyue and 7-ish in Inazuma, with most of them being in the Chasm and Enkanomiya respectively. Honestly, I'm not too worried about this quest since there are so few of them in comparison to Sumeru and Fontaine. In my last video, I mentioned that I wanted to farm every single Primo Gem I can before the start of 4.1, but now that I know which order the banners will be coming out, I can breathe a bit easier when it comes to maxing out the map. My priority is getting Grizzly and his weapon in the second half of 4.1, but that does come at a caveat. Being FTP, I obviously don't have the power of the wallet, so Grizzly and his weapon are coming home on thoughts and prayers, you guys, cause my 5-star guarantee is going straight to Neverlet as his banner is in the first half of 4.1. I really am setting myself up for a disaster. I might not have enough fates to get cash flow supervision if I'm not able to farm enough fates or if Neverlet doesn't come home early. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. By the way, before we go on ahead, this video is not a guide on how to complete any of the quests. My brain is too smooth for that, honestly. There are some mild to big spoilers up ahead for new players or those who have a life and like to enjoy the game at their own pace. The rest of the video is sectioned off by regions to help with spoilers, so watch at your own risk. With Sumeru being my biggest obstacle in my quest to complete, well, every quest, I decided that this was going to be my first priority. Most of the quests I did do are just blurs at this point. I heavily depend on the use of guides from the likes of WoWQuest and Game8.net. I would have not been able to finish as many as I did without them. And it was pretty hard to stay invested considering the amount of text bloat that the quests in Sumeru have. And it doesn't help that most of them aren't voiced either. I found that anything involving Sarush or Lilipar really helped my engagement while playing due to their gameplay mechanics during quests and exploration. And what pissed me off the most is that there's this one quest in particular that I'm not counting towards this challenge. You see, this quest right here, this is locked behind a daily Sumeru commission. I'm already desperately farming reputation points in Fontaine, so I haven't done a Sumeru daily in a hot second. And I'm not switching them back to jump on mushrooms, waiting around for a quest that may or may not even show up. So yeah, Hoyo got me messed up. I was stressed at times because it was a struggle to figure out which quests I could do and which ones were locked behind other ones. Sumeru just overall had very long quests and they were spread all over the place. I was also overwhelmed by trying to 100% the map while completing quests. Just take a look at how many chests I was able to find, as well as how many time trials and puzzles I was able to solve in Sumeru alone. I'd love to give you a primo gem breakdown for this region too, but I am not that insane. Aside from that, I also finally maxed out the Dendro statue of the 7. I did lose my mind a bit since I found the lost Dendroculus to max out the statue, but not the last one. Luckily, the resonance stone is a thing, so it made my search pretty easy. I also got the onion thing in Vanarana to level 45. It's been rough trying to get enough Dendro sigils to max it out, and I'm feeling the same way about the Amrita pool, which is now at level 3. There is one positive, however. I remember the puzzles feeling so hard when Sumeru first released, but they felt pretty easy this time around, honestly. It could just be that I was under sensory overload, or Hoyo really said that we were just too smooth-brained for complex puzzles. All I'll say is that I am not complaining either way. Liyue was literally the easiest to comb through. All of the quests involved the chasm, and I had already started all of the quest chains for said quests. It was really just tying up loose ends at this point. I completed the 3 quests listed at the reputation board, as well as the apparently hidden quest of collecting the 9 archaic stones and then giving them to Mooning. That does lead me into another tangent. I was reading some thread on the Genshin subreddit the other day, where someone mentioned that there are hidden quests. Like, I am already struggling to finish the ones that exist with words in my thing, and now you're telling me that I gotta go FBI on this game? All of that aside, the chasm mines just felt grim. Like, everyone just has an overall bad time there. It's implied that Ziqiang and Katarina perish in the depths, and honestly, I believe it. The overworld quests in the area are a lot more lighthearted. Like, the game really had me play with weasels right after learning that Katarina just faded away. Also, I found this weird pile of leaves at the border of Liyue and Sumeru. I thought it was a puzzle, but then I had to get rid of the leaves in a specific order, and then the air mine showed up, and then I defeated them, and then there was no chest at the end. Like, please don't tell me that Hoyo just trolled me, because I really do need all the primos I can get. You can't do this to me. Please, tell me that there is a chest after like a few days or something at least. I only had to complete 5 quests in Inazuma, with 4 of them being in Enkanomiya and the 5th one being on Narukami Island. Now, if I thought I was depressed by the grim outlook of the chasm, oh boy, was I messed up after Enkanomiya. You mean to tell me that they literally yeeted children into their equivalent of the sun? What the hell? I thought it was bad enough what they did to Ryo in Surumi Island. Obviously not everyone agreed with what they were doing to these kids. I'm glad that Orobashi put an end to all of that. And then Celestia just offed him too, like, boy. I will admit that I felt the most invested when I was going through the Inazuma quest. The word bloat didn't feel that bad, and I rarely found myself having to manually advance the quest like I did in Sumeru. The game also didn't spoon feed you the lore as much, and I found myself falling down a rabbit hole reading the entire timeline of Enkanomiya. It did help that I didn't have to explore an entire region from scratch too. I also found a hidden island though. I was really excited, but most of you guys probably already knew about it if you completed the collections of Dragons and Snakes quest though. When it came to Fontaine, I really tried my best not to rush it, as it is the newest region. I really wanted to enjoy it because the scenery is genuinely breathtaking. It's almost as if I can actually breathe the fresh, crisp air in. And despite there being crusty ass criminals like Vivian of the Lake, everything just seems so chill. So whenever I got overwhelmed with speedrunning the other regions, I took a break in Fontaine. I really enjoyed the Narzissing Cross questline. It was a bit big-brained at moments, and there were some really cute moments too. But once I saw Mary Ann, I already knew what was in store. We already went through this during the 3.8 questline in the Villarium Mirage. It was sweet that the real Anne gave Oceanit Anne sweet memories, but it was heartbreaking to find out the truth of what happened to real Anne once she grew up, and you do end up learning a little bit more about it during the Melazine questline. At this point of editing, I haven't completed all of the Fontaine quests either, but by the time you're seeing this, the 4.0 quests will have been completed. Like I said, I am taking my time to enjoy this region. Okay, I'll admit it. I didn't exactly finish every single quest. There are a few hidden quests I'll get around to before Risley comes out. And don't think I'll forget about those hangout quests either. Hey, I still have to maximize my primo count, okay? So what exactly did all of this suffering amount to? I am glad you asked. As a matter of fact, I now have a total of 202 intertwined fates. In a way, I'm kind of proud of myself, but also kind of disappointed. I collected enough wishes since the start of 4.0, equivalent to 83 intertwined fates. If we're just counting this video alone, then that means I farmed enough primos to make 47 intertwined fates. On the other hand, that means that all of the endless hours I poured into the game these past few weeks only amounted to 47 worth. This isn't from quests alone either, it's from a combination of quests, chests, puzzles, the livestream redemption codes, and events. I did manage to complete a total of 34 quests. This value isn't the most accurate. You see, I wasn't sure how to exactly count them, especially if a quest was a part of a bigger quest line. So I eventually just added a quest to the count once the green notification popped up, instead of every individual one. So the 34 is definitely on the lower end. Here are some other cool facts about my journey. I collected a total of 63 chests, and an additional 9 of them were remarkable chests. I completed 26 time trials, I solved 41 puzzles, and I helped 17 Sealies get home. I'm a bit disappointed that I wasn't able to farm more wishes, but it is what it is. Honestly, I haven't felt this hype for a character or a region in a long time. I have been overwhelmed with exploration and quests since 2-something, which was made so much worth with the release of Sumeru. Looking at it in a new perspective, i.e. the rewards, it really helped me catch up and even got me excited to finish the challenge. I did kind of pay for it using my sanity, however. At least it's finally over, right? No. Because of how vastly I underestimated how much time I would need to complete this challenge, I wasn't even able to finish every single quest before 4.0. Instead, I pushed my deadline up until the release of Risley's Manor, which then means I had to spend primos on Nervalette. This took me back 70 intertwined fates and brought me down to a total of 132 wishes with 150 primos for Risley and his weapon. On the bright side, 4.1 did release an additional region, so I was able to recuperate some of my losses. Life sometimes gets in the way, and like I said, I severely underestimated how long this would take. By the time 4.1 came around, I did manage to complete a majority of the quests, but there was still a lot to do. I still had 3 character quests, Linny's, Dea's, and Yoimiya's, and then Nervalette's dropped after the new update. I did his first, which, oh my god, it was so good. It hit me right in the feels. The other quests were great, and it's just a testament to how great Hoyo is getting at developing their world building as time passes on. Earlier in the video, I said that I was going to enjoy Fontaine and take my time doing the quests and exploring the overworld. I did no such thing. The clock was ticking and time was running out. 9 out of the 20 Fontaine world quests were already done before 4.1, but then they added 10 more quests. It was time to grind it out. These quests were put on autoplay to the max. Despite that, I really did enjoy them. It really nurtured my curiosity to explore the rest of the world, and I really was brought to tear a few times. But I did have some gripes with them. Some of the Melusine quests got kind of annoying because of how complex Hoyo made it to travel underground. Maybe it was just me who couldn't get how to use the portals? I don't know. And I couldn't really get into the unfinished comedy quest line at first. Like, you mean to tell me Risley really let a little girl stay in prison after her mom was released? Like, I get that kids are born in prison, not ideal, but it sometimes happens, you know? But to leave them in prison after the parent is released. You know what, considering that I live in the United States of America, where we don't even know what a kilometer is, I can kind of see that happening, so I'm just not gonna question it anymore. And then the game decided to do a 180 and decided to drop some juicy lore regarding Caterpillar. Like, okay, who let you guys cook? I do want to nitpick a little bit though. Did anyone else get mad that the new quest menu that Hoyo created kept blocking you from starting this quest over a quest that wasn't even out yet? Like, bro. Now with that all said and done, my other obstacle, Sumeru. Yup, I still didn't even finish this quest by the time 4.1 came out. And I'm not even gonna talk about it anymore. They're done, I promise you. I promise. Here is proof. Hello, future me here. There is no proof of no such thing. I did get as many of them done as I could, but there are still 3 main quests that I wasn't able to complete. The first one being Garcia's quest, which I already said I wasn't going to count towards this challenge just because of the nature of it. I was not going to set my dailies back to Sumeru. The second one is Memory's final chapter. I swore up and down that this quest was bugged for me. I had already done a whole quest with Kaim and thought that I already finished the prerequisites. And then I realized while I was doing the Static Fuse quest that there were 2 quests that I needed to do in the Aranara booklet, and one of them was the actual prerequisite. Considering that, yeah, it was kind of clear that I was not going to be able to wrap up the Sumeru quests in time. And the third and final quest I couldn't get done was a short encounter with a bird. Hoyo, please explain to me why the boars did not reset after the daily server reset. This was supposed to be the easiest to complete, but the boars would not show up, and because of the stupid route I chose to take and my general skill issue, I was not fast enough to shoot any of them to start the quest line. I am still so salty that I wasn't able to finish this quest. Okay, so for the final outcome, after my Neverless summons, I was left with 132 intertwined fates and some primo gems on the side. After completing 56 more quests, farming 64 chests and 12 remarkable chests, I completed 11 time trials, solved 23 puzzles, and helped 16 more Sealies get home. Oh, and I can't forget to include the anniversary rewards. What an absolute blessing, by the way. I ended up with a total of 201 intertwined fates and 111 primo gems. This means that during this challenge, I was able to collect enough primos to make 116 fates. That's a lot of fates, but I still need to farm the rest of Teyvat for more. I basically ended up right where I started prior to my Neverless summons. I do love him, by the way. He is awesome and truly broken. What a unit, man. But man, I hope Risley is worth it. Like, come on. My guy has a drone, a prison, and a dump. In all seriousness though, I did have a lot of fun, even if some parts were draining. You know, that feeling when you finish a really good movie that leaves you just in awe and you just kind of sit there for a while? Yeah, that's kind of how it felt like. I wish you guys the best of luck in your own adventure in Teyvat. Don't be like me. Don't be a massive simp like me. Enjoy the game. As Zhongling says, every journey has its final day. Don't rush. If you guys made it to the end of the video, thanks so much for watching. This video was truly a beast to make. Consider liking and subscribing if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.